Okay, so the last video I uploaded was about 3 months ago, and at the time I was just finishing up ripping out the ceiling padding. In that video I had gone through the process of ripping out the bathroom and the cabinets and the kitchen and all of the ceiling panels, and I had just taken down the interior AC unit function. And in that video there was a lot that I saw and experienced as far as taking everything out of the van. The van was filthy at that point in time, and so it's been 3 months since I finished that process and 3 months since I created a video to show the people that are somewhat interested. But in that time, since the last video, I have been working on the van. It's just been a very slow process. So some of the things that have happened since were I took the van to a body shop just to get a quote, and the quote ended up being, decent enough for me to say, okay, let's go ahead and do this body work and get a paint job. There were a lot of holes around the van, like where I took out the water heater and the old exhaust pipes for the sewage system and the heater, and different inputs for water and shore power. And so I didn't necessarily need those holes anymore, and that was my intention with getting the body work, along with a lot of rusted spots in the van and just rust up under the paint in general. And the thing is that, like, I liked the patina of the van and I would have kept it, but the ultimate issue was all of the body work that needed to be done that compromised the build. I got on my hands and knees and scrubbed the floor, sanded the floor, mopped the floor, dried the floor, and then I went in more recently and bondoed all the holes. So there were a lot of pinholes and screw holes and like quarter-sized holes where old pipes ran, or just where wires were coming up from the bottom of the van or were fed to different appliances around the van. So I went through and I used this Bondo and covered up all the holes. And so that brings me to today with the goals of the work that I plan to do today, my intention for today, and that is to simply sand and sand and sand some more until the floor is pretty much even. There are quite a bit of areas with Bondo because there were quite a bit of holes. The goal for today is just to sand, to be patient. My intention is to be patient with the process. I realized since the last video and over the last few months that, like, as many to-do lists as I create, it doesn't mean that all 6 of those items are going to be done in one day. It's not possible. I'm only one person working on this van, and I can't do it all in one day. I'm working on that. I'm working on my patience. I'm working on trusting the process. I'm working on allowing the van to speak to me, in a way, and tell me, once I enter the van, allowing the van to tell me what it is that needs to be done, rather than coming in and saying, I need to do this, I need to sand the floors, I need to scrub the floors, I need to get the seats out, I need to get the generator out, I need to do this, I need to do that. Rather than coming in with that very harsh, pushy energy and demanding energy, I'm trying to teach myself to come inside and say, okay, what is most important right now? What is necessary in this moment for me to be able to move forward with this project? And today, that is the floor. I cannot do the sound deadening, and I cannot do the insulation and the subfloor without having sanded all of the big Bondo areas. So that is my goal for today. My goal for this video in general is that every day that I work, and I'm going to do this video for the next 7 days, every day that I work, I'm going to set an intention, set a goal, and show you the process. I don't know how much work is going to be done in the next 7 days. We'll just have to see at the end of it. It may not look like much, or it may be quite a bit. But the whole point is just to take one step at a time, to document, and to be able to look back and reflect and congratulate myself for the work that I've done, despite its difficulty and despite being out here by myself. It is March 8th. It is a Sunday, and it is 10:46 a.m. So I am going to put on my gear and I'm going to start sanding. Help has arrived. Update. I have sanded all of the spots and they have been approved to move forward. My partner has a lot of experience and he said I did a good job, so boom, I can move forward. So the next steps are sweeping all the dust out and sweeping again. I'm probably going to do a wipe down, like with a white rag, to get all the residue up, and then I'm going to go ahead and do that second layer of the rust proof paint on top of everything. Yeah, and then it's going to be time to work on something new. Another thing that I want to do, aside from the sanding, the sweeping, the painting, which I didn't consider earlier, is removing the seats and doing essentially all the same process to the front cab area of the van. If you know, I'll show you, but you can see that there's a lot of rust spots. There's moisture that has collected up under the seats that is just contributing to the rust. And I want to be able to clean all of that out and do the same rust treatment as the back. Those are the next steps for the van today. And I have help, so I'm excited. Okay. Oh man. See? That's exactly why we need to take it out. That's bad.
Watching these.
Did that shit. Hey. Wow. Alright.
You like engines?
I like engines now. It is now 4:30 and I'm pretty much done for the day. The last step I'm going to take is bondoing up the holes that I forgot in the back and that I have found up here in the front, like around the wheel wells and the steps to get in, and over here underneath the seats that I wasn't able to reach from the get-go. So I'm gonna do that and then pick you back up tomorrow. Alright, y'all, I am back again. I am off to a late start. It is 12:02 p.m., but I had some errands to run, some other things to take care of, but I'm out here and the weather is beautiful. The plan for today is to come up to the front cab area and sand all of the places that I bondoed yesterday. There were some other holes, like pinholes and like things from old rivets and screws that I bondoed, so I need to smooth that out. I'm gonna do another wipe down from the very front to the very back, from the very back to the very front, and then I'm going to do a layer of paint again from the very back to the very front and vice versa. It's a rust proofing paint, and the whole purpose is to just prime the van before doing the other steps of the process to get it ready. My intention for today is to have fun with it. You know, just see what happens, go with the flow. Yesterday was a really good day. It was a very inspiring day. I didn't expect to get so much done, and I kind of want to carry over that same energy, that same sentiment for today. I'll be working by myself today, so it'll be a little bit different, but luckily the job that I have in mind to get done is pretty simple. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get started, and we'll see what happens. So I finished all the sanding, finished all the painting. It all needs to dry at least 24 hours before I can do anything else with it. I've accomplished my goal for the day. I do not have the time right now. My phone's inside, but I'll insert it just as a timekeeper. But I'm gonna go inside, do some house stuff like washing the dishes, and then I'll come back out here and check on it and decide if I'm gonna do any more work than I've already done. I feel pretty confident about today. Everything went smoothly. I can't complain about the process. Even if I did figure out what I could do, I don't know what it would be, because I need to be on the inside of the van to really do any work, and I don't want to step on the paint that I just put down. So anyways, I'm gonna go inside and take care of some stuff and come back out and check on it and go from there. It is Tuesday, March 10th, and it's 10:35 a.m. Came out here a little bit earlier, but I was just standing and staring at the van. So yesterday I sanded and painted the van and just had to let it be so that it can all dry and be ready for today. I went inside, took care of some chores, did groceries, I cooked, and then I started working on this video. So editing all of the clips from the last 2 days for this video. But that brings me to today. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I woke up with a lot of different thoughts and opinions on what I could do, but it was almost like a web of thoughts that I had to like connect different facts. I had to connect what I wanted to do to what the reality was and whether or not it would be feasible to actually try and do it by myself. So my thinking was, I can come out here and remove the windows one at a time, clean them, reseal them, you know, and screw them all together, right? But I watched a couple of videos, and the videos had 2 people working on that project, right? One person on the inside doing the unscrewing, one person on the outside holding the window to make sure it doesn't actually just plop out of the van. So I'm like, okay, I'm one person. Should I attempt to take the windows out by myself? I don't know. I don't feel too confident about that. So then I was thinking, okay, I can do the, dang, what's it called? It's just a sound deadening mat. So now that the floors are painted and sealed and all the holes have been covered up, I can do the sound deadening mat, right? I don't have the proper like rolling tool, because you have to measure it, stick it down, and then there's a tool like a brayer, a rubber roller that you use to kind of press the mat onto the surface. I don't have one of those. And I was looking on the Home Depot app, and Home Depot doesn't have it in my area. So I was like, okay, like I can move on to that step, but I don't have the tools. So then I was like, let me just look around the house and see what I can use to kind of like replace that. I was like, I can like press it down with a cup, you know, and kind of like just press it down like this and it'll take more work, but it'll do the same job. I was looking around the house, and then I found this really old, like, I've never even seen this before in the house, but it's a tape roller. But the thing is, it has the same function. So I figured we could give this a try and see if it would do the job. If not, I'll just stick it down and come back later and roll it out. I can feel myself getting into the mental space of like moving too quickly for my own good and thinking too many thoughts for my own good, and this is typically what happens, and this is what I wanted to work on this week. So I recognize that it's happening. My intention for today is to take things one step at a time, move slowly with intention, and go with the flow. It's all about taking it one step at a time. So what I'm going to begin with is setting an intention for the van in general, clearing it with my sage, letting it air out, and then I'm going to go inside and get the sound editing mat, and I'm going to begin on that. May this engine run forever. I'm tired, if you can't tell. It is 5:01. You know what I call 5:01? Time to clock out. Today I worked on putting the sound deadening mat onto the wheel wells. I did the back, I did the front, and then I started putting it on the floor of the front cab area. Tomorrow, the plan is to continue with the process and to just move from the front all the way to the back with the sound deadening mat. I'm gonna lay it all out to see how much I have, just to kind of like piecemeal it out for the rest of the van, because I don't plan on buying any more. But what I also want to do is place it on the walls too, like underneath the windows, around the wheel wells, any area that had previously had a hole and had been welded over. Sound editing mat today, sound editing mat tomorrow. I will check back in with you in the morning. Good morning. It's 10:46 in the morning. I'm back out here to do more sound deadening. Yeah, it's just gonna be more of the same stuff I did yesterday. Gonna continue working on the floor, add some to the walls, add some to the side and the back doors, and whenever it's all done, it's done, and I'm gonna move on. So nothing much more to report here. Sound deadening commences. It's 3:48 p.m. and I'm tired as hell. This is day 2 of applying the sound deadening mat, and to be honest, this is the most monotonous shit I've ever done, and it sucks, and I'm tired of doing it. I realized that this morning I didn't set my intention, and I was thinking about it while I was working, and in hindsight, a good intention would have been to just work in the moment, be in the moment with all the work that I do, because mind you, I just got done telling you how tired and bored of this I am, but like, I bought it, I can't return it, it has to be applied, and I'm the only one working on it, so quite honestly, I just have to suck it up and get it done. It's day 5, Thursday, March 12th, and it's 10:40 a.m. I'm clocking in, and guess what I'm doing today? Sound deadening mat. Okay, this is attempt 3 at recording this. It's 2:27. This is my first time coming out to the van today. Yesterday I tried to take out the generator, and there was a small like LJ-shaped pipe that connected the generator to the muffler that essentially was preventing me from taking the generator out. I couldn't get the pipe loose, and I don't have the strength to just yank the generator out. So I quit on the job. I was pissed yesterday. It's 2:36 and I'm over this shit. I'm done working for the day. Bye. And I went inside and took the rest of the day for myself. I felt like that's what I needed to do, and I surrendered to that feeling. I went inside and was like, okay, I'll just work on the video. And when I opened up the program, a lot of the work that I had done the previous day just wasn't saved. And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna shut everything off and take the rest of the day for myself. And that's kind of the feeling that I had this morning when I woke up. I told myself I was just going to open up the program, do some video editing, kind of to catch myself up and ease into the process of working today. And I did that, and it worked well. I don't necessarily think I'm going to be working on the van anymore today, but tomorrow I will have help. And the goal for tomorrow is just going to be to remove the generator and to start on removing, cleaning, and resealing all of the van windows. Oh my God. These summer bugs are crazy. I need to get out of here. So that's the goal for today, is just taking the time for myself. That's a goal and the intention, to surrender to the feelings that I feel, to take notice of what my mind and my body is telling me, and that is to relax and to take some time for myself, to kind of come back to my center and be prepared to be positive and efficient and forward-looking tomorrow. Because yesterday wasn't it, and today I wasn't feeling it either. So I'm gonna go about my day. I may or may not pick the camera back up, who knows, but if anything, I'll pick you up tomorrow. Bye. Good morning. It is Monday, March 16th, and it is technically 8 days now since the first video clip of me starting this week-long process. So I just wanted to recap everything that I've done up until this point. I will say the last clip I remember was of me trying to remove the generator, and I went inside because I was frustrated that I couldn't do it. That was on Friday. Saturday, we did absolutely nothing on the van. And then yesterday, Sunday, we did some work. We took out the generator. We removed one of the windows that has visibly the most damage to the van. There's a lot of rust around it, so I knew it needed to come out and be cleaned. And then we also put back in the driver's side seat of the van, just in case I needed to drive it again. I didn't set an intention yesterday, but the goal was to do all the things that we actually did. I feel like a lot of the intentions that I set were mainly focused on remaining in the moment and being patient with myself and with the process. And I think in general that is what I've been needing to learn and to hold on to. I'm the type of person that I want a checklist of everything that I need to do. I need to know how I'm going to do it, when I'm going to do it, and why I'm going to do it. And this process has taught me so far along the way that it doesn't always work that way. It's not always best to work that way. Sometimes you just need to let things flow and move with the way things are telling you to move. Sometimes you need to simplify what you're doing. You need to simplify your expectations. That is a big problem of mine, is I often set high, very high expectations for myself, and when I don't meet them, I become super critical. And and emotional about it, and it just puts me in a mood that ultimately deters me from doing any effective work anyway. So it's been a big learning process this week. I will admit that I think it was Thursday and Friday, like there was just one thing after another that really frustrated me and caused me to just like quit the process and go inside and like take the time for myself. And on one hand, it's understandable to feel certain things and feel like you need a break, and to say, okay, I'm gonna listen and go inside and breathe and take a break and distance myself. But then on the other hand, what put me in that position in the first place was having such high expectations and was having such long to-do lists that I couldn't necessarily accomplish by myself. And that frustrated me and then pushed me to the edge. So there's a give and take. I feel like this week, the process that I've gone through, the help that I got, the days where I had to do it all by myself, and the process of documenting it has been really interesting. And I'm excited to see what it all looks like once I edit it all together and play it back for myself. And then, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years down the line, what am I going to think of myself and of the process once I look back and say, oh, wow, you really did that, but also you really did that? So yeah, I just wanted to close this out with a little bit of reflection. I think it'll also take me some more time to reflect on the process and to say, looking back, I could have done things differently, or I admire, how I did this, or I can see the shift, whatever, you never really know. But I want to say thank you for tuning in. If you've happened to stick to this video for this long, I feel like I do a lot of talking. I appreciated this process, and I'm glad that I was able to push myself to do it. So, thank you. And I'll see y'all whenever I post again.